Hi, welcome in the Libra season. We are in October now, and I'll speak to you about the new moon in Libra. We're going to have it on Wednesday, the 6th at noontime. So new beginning, new moon, new beginning. However, we have Mercury that just gone retrograde. So there are some buts in this new beginning, new moon. Let's think about the themes of Libra, and this is what most likely we will explore and experience in our life. So it's relationships, communication, balancing as the scales of the Libra, and what Mercury brings to it in its retrograde movement. It looks like, looking from the position of the Earth upwards, it looks as if it was going backwards, and it has some impact, and it will impact our communication. So most likely we will experience some, if we're not very careful, we will experience some misunderstanding, miscommunication, some delays, because there's also a thing about transportation and devices that we use to communicate. So a lot going on there. But let's take it one step at a time. So the title of this recording is Being Me, Loving You. What comes up for you when you hear that? Being me, loving you. Well, I'm thinking about these big questions about our feelings, our needs, and Libra is really inviting us to check how balanced our needs and other people's needs in our relationships. Is there a balance in the giving, receiving? Is there a balance in how we spend our time? And this doesn't have to be only in relationships with other people. It can be how I am with myself, my own relationship with myself. How do I communicate with myself? So a lot going on there. I will invite you, let's do it now. I'll read out some questions, invitations, and this comes from NVC, Nonviolent Communication, by Marshall Rosenberg, and I will put these questions and some other notes in your newsletter, so you can explore it deeper if you wish. And if you're not getting the newsletter, let me know, so I'll add you on. So let's try this. Try this out. You may want to close your eyes. It helps me always to connect deeper with something that may come up in response to this invitation. So I would like you to imagine that I'm lending my voice to either your friend or your partner. So as if they were saying this to you, they were asking these questions to you. Okay, so would you tell me one thing that I do that makes your life less than wonderful, maybe even difficult? Can you tell me about one thing that I do that you really want me to know is not contributing to your happiness? See if you can think of one thing. And you may want to pause this video to have a bit more time for reflection, or maybe take a notebook. And I'll give you a very small example just to make it a little bit practical. So let's say we meet up or we have some agreement. So let's pick one. So we've said we'll do this thing together, and you didn't come. You know, you said you'll come early from work and you didn't come, and then I had to do it myself, right? That's our example. So then the next question that would follow that would be, oh, yeah, how did you feel when I did that, when I didn't show up? How did you feel? And you may have a different example here, right? So go with your example. How did you feel when I did that thing that you thought about? And in this example, I may say, you know, I felt disappointed. I felt also angry and sad, and I just felt like everything is on my shoulders. And it's very unlikely that your partner would say this, because not many people are taught how to communicate and understand this type of communication. But your feelings, whatever you're feeling, it will relate to a need that is either satisfied, fulfilled, or not. And usually we feel pleasurable feelings when our needs are satisfied, and painful feelings when they're not. So in this example, I may feel that the need that wasn't satisfied was to feel a sense of togetherness, to feel that someone has my back, to feel excited about doing something together, right? So every feeling that comes up in response to whatever someone else is doing, it is related to either that underlying need being satisfied or not. And when it isn't, that creates pain. So this communication here, we have the situation that causes pain, then the feelings that are evoked by the situation, and then ideally, which often doesn't happen, is it would be followed by a third question. So what would you like me to do? Can you tell me what you want me to do? And be as concrete as you can be. So if, let's go with this example. Well, I want to feel supported. Well, it doesn't say anything really. So putting it in concrete words would go something like, well, when we say we'll do something together, I really would like you to show up. And if it's not possible, then let me know that you're either running late or that it's not going to happen on that occasion, and let me know about an alternative, when you would be available, unless of course there is some time limit in the situation, right? So here's an example, but it could be, sometimes we say like, well, I want to be understood, I want to feel listened, I want to get help around the house. Well, what exactly do you want this other person to do? How would you feel understood? Maybe by them telling you what they've heard when you spoke to them. Can you say what I've just said to you, so I really know that you got it? Or after you finish eating, please wash up, because I don't like coming back home when the sink is full of plates. So you see, this last step is probably the most crucial, Well, they're all very important, but we often communicate in a way that we seem to express feelings. We may actually have a lot of feelings, very intense feelings, and we may even say, you know, like, oh, you always do that, and when I come and this dirty sink, and or you don't return my calls, and you don't care about me. There seems to be a lot of feelings there, but in order for us to really be heard, so here's the bit, being me, loving you, in order for me to really feel me, I need to own my feelings and I need to take responsibility for my feelings. And in this example, in this, using this little sequence, I would really have to look at the situation, right? And ask myself, okay, what's the situation? Well, this person didn't show up, or they showed up late. How do I feel about that? So the feelings, the disappointment, there is a need that a real need. This is not just complaining. I have a real need behind these feelings. And it might be, yeah, I want to feel that there's someone who cares about my need and who shows up, that I have a sense of stability in my life, that I know that when someone says something, I can trust that. So I have a need for trust and trusting relationship. And when we see it like that, and when we learn to communicate it like that, that takes us to a different level of communicating. Because it can always be dismissed by someone who is not able to receive it, but we are more likely to be actually heard and honored in our truth, because we are owning it. So I say, this is what I see, this is how I'm feeling, and if we stop there, then it's incomplete. And because we don't really say what we want, and when we don't say what we want, that creates pain for you and for this other person, because nothing is resolved. And I'm sure you can think of hundreds of examples of how we get over and over into the same argument, into the same painful situations, and nothing seems to change. And that's the frustration of most relationships. And the most significant, I think, missing bit here is, after we've owned our feelings and have expressed them, rather than saying, you make me feel, I feel angry because there's a need that is not being heard. And I'm hearing this need now, and I can now communicate to you what I want. And by communicating what I want, I let you have a choice. And I let you to have a choice of either being in pain in this relationship and not hearing that, not receiving that, or ignoring that. And then we have to deal with the consequences of that. Or I actually give you a chance to do something different, for us to create a fulfilling relationship. So actually, by saying what we want clearly, it's a gift. And that's how we love them. Yeah, being me, owning my feelings, my needs, and also responsibility for letting the other know what I need, what I want. That is loving them as well, and loving myself. And if we learn this way of respecting ourselves, then it's almost inevitable that we will reciprocate that. We will do it in other relationships. We may ask, is this something bothering you? Have I done anything, or is there anything that that causes pain in your life that relates to me? And how do you feel about that? Oh, I imagine there's a need that isn't satisfied. Do you have a sense of that? So what would you rather me do? How can we create a more fulfilling relationship. And I know these phrases, these sort of sequence may sound a little bit artificial. And at first, well, everything feels, when we're practicing things, when we're learning things, that's how they feel. And yet, then at some point it becomes a way we communicate, a way we view relationships as a dialogue. So going back to the themes of Mercury going retrograde and really messing with our communication and delaying things and maybe just causing all sorts of trouble. On the one hand, right, there's more to it than that. It's really important that we are very clear about our intentions, our motivation, and we are careful about our words. We choose our words intentionally. The other side of Mercury. The other side of Mercury is a gift of deepening into this inner exploration, into the exploring, reevaluating our ways of communicating. And with Libra here, this new beginning, I said at the beginning that it may not feel like, because of the Mercury retrograde, it may not be the best time to start new things, but actually it's a perfect time to reevaluate, to explore the inner workings of our communication, of our relationships, and taking it into the world. So being me and loving you, whoever the you is. It could be the world, it could be your partner, your friend. It could be yourself, right? The dialogue, how we speak to ourselves. I'm thinking whether there was anything else I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's plenty. And yeah, take yourself with kindness, with love into this world of relationships and communication and explore it. Be brave to go to that deeper level of really checking and really taking responsibility for what you want, for what you need, because only then, I know it's frustrating, we wish people knew they had this magical ball and they could see, they should know what we want, and especially we've said it so many times, and well, it doesn't work. Otherwise we wouldn't have these over and over and over and over and over situations. But the trick might be in becoming a little bit vulnerable and saying how we're feeling and what we want. And yes, there may not be a reception for it, but would you rather live in relationships where you keep hiding yourself and you pretend and you don't face these realizations that something may need reevaluation, something may need new ways of communicating, we may need to be for a moment uncomfortable in order to create something that is more fulfilling for everyone. So on this note, I wish you a happy new moon and see how it goes. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.